Hey guys, this morning I'm going to tell you a little bit about safety for the back area, which we're calling the deep freeze. This is the area you'll be working if you're a popsicle. You will also be working this area if you are Scream Team, and I will let you know a little bit about that aspect in a moment. One of the first things you'll want to be wary of when you're working as a popsicle in this area is that there will be this kind of plastic draped over tables, draped over boxes, and also remember hanging from about there with a clothesline effect, in other words. So there'll be rows of plastic. When you're working with the plastic, even if it's secure, which we're definitely going to try to do, it can still fall. It's very easy to also get tangled up in it. So you're going to want to know what plastic is around you. Different obstacles have different types of plastic. So for instance, over here, you guys know that this plastic will be hanging sort of catty corner. And that means that you'll want to be aware of how the plastic is attached right above your head. If you see that it's falling, one of the first things that you can do is get a Scream Team person. Now the Scream Team will be assisting in this back area to do things exactly like that. Make sure the plastic is staying where it should and to make sure that everyone is safe. In terms of the plastic being draped over items like tables and boxes, one of the concerns, of course, is that a visitor might step on it on accident. Most of them will just find this hilarious, but if they get tangled in it, they also might walk away and drag the plastic with them. So you want to be wary of it. Remember that there are people who are going to be working right here, and you're going to be chasing visitors this way. So you'll want to be aware of the plastic on the table. Now this is the same effect that will be on the whiteboard table. On the whiteboard table from here to the ground will be plastic, and you'll be coming out from underneath if you're working in this area, which means it's going to be especially important that the plastic is nice and secure on the top of the whiteboard so that you actually can come out of it like it's just a flap and you're getting out sort of on your hands and knees. So get used to feeling the plastic. Some of the plastic is what we call heavy. It's the heavy type of painter's plastic, and some of it is a little bit more light. So make sure you're aware of the plastic. It's probably our number one concern. One of the other concerns will be at different places on the floor. There will be fake intestines. Now these intestines, some of them are attached to things like a piece of cardboard. We have little sort of floor panels in some areas that students will walk across, but some of them will just be on the floor around you. You may even have a popsicle area where people are holding some of the props. So you want to be aware of where you are in terms of the floor, what's beneath you, and then also who around you is holding a prop. Because if that person drops it, we got to make sure that it's picked up almost immediately. A visitor could trip on it. You could trip on it. There's a lot of stuff that might happen with the props. Now the props are really just basic foam, which means they're not heavy, and they're also probably going to break. We're going to lose a lot of those, and that's okay. But you should be aware of when they break so that we can get them out of these areas. And the most important part for that is making sure that you're looking around on the floor. One of the other aspects working back here will of course be that there's going to be lighting. So lighting and fog machines this year will be, hopefully, some of them mounted rather high so that the light will shut down this way. Now what that means is the lights will also be probably in these corners. And the flashlights that you're carrying, and some of you will have flashlights, you want to be able to sort of look up and make sure that the lighting is still attached. Is the wire where it's supposed to be? We're going to try especially hard this year to make sure that the lighting is, the cords and things like that are out of place so that no one can step on them, including you. But you'll notice in the Writing Center that most of the plugs are on the floor. The plugs that are not being used, we're going to cover with duct tape. But the ones that we are using, you want to make sure you know where they are. So again, look in your area, look down, see where the outlets are. If you're in an area where there's lights or the fog machine around you, do little things like make sure the fog machine is still working. Are the lights still plugged in? Have any been pulled down? And you can again get a Scream Team member for that, and they'll pass it on to Writing Center personnel We actually do have, believe it or not, which is amazing, a tech team this year that will be helping to make sure those kinds of things happen. And someone from the tech team will have a walkie-talkie, so you can notify them. In your area, you will have at least one person with a walkie-talkie. Likely that will be somebody who works in the writing center. So you need to tell that person, and they can tell the tech team that there's something that maybe needs to be repaired. You can also tell them that if it's something like the sound isn't working, there are sound effects very simply from laptops. And so we want to make sure that the speakers and all those things are connected as well. The final thing that you should be aware of is as people exit this area, they're going to go through the middle of the writing center, which are these glass doors. So if you're working anywhere near the doors, you should be checking them for things like, number one, are they open? Over here, plastic will be hung all the way to the ground. So that means these doors should stay open at all time. There are people who will accidentally bump into the glass, and you may even bump into the glass too. If you do, immediately get somebody who works in the writing center. That would be somebody from your area back here. And we can make sure that the doors are open. We can make sure there's not glass breaking or anything like that. And you also, finally, want to be aware of what's going to be blocked off. So in this corner, the plastic is going to hang from way up here. And then these desks will be blocked off. So you want to sort of keep that perimeter where it should be with the plastic hanging. And again, if you notice the plastic, you got to get somebody from the writing center, and we can figure out what we're going to do to fix it, okay? So if you're working in the back areas of Popsicle, plastic, lots of boxes, make sure you're aware of what's above you and on the floor, and most of all, just have some fun.